Hi, my name is Taylor Sievertson and I'm a Community Development Research Assistant at North Dakota State University. Today we'll be talking about financial capital. Financial capital can be defined as the money, income, and wealth present in a community and the ways that these assets are earned, stored, and invested. To gain a better understanding of these community economics, we've spoken to residents, leaders, and local business owners here in Barnesville. The Economic Development Authority has been instrumental in providing resources regarding incentive programs and other financial assistance available, especially for those new and existing businesses. Banks, like Midwest Bank, contribute to the community through the use of reinvestment funds and serve as an important source of information as the community works to build financial capital. Finally, Barnesville's proximity to Fargo-Moorhead and its identity as a commuter town has had an important impact on individual and household finances. Each of these aspects combined helps create a better understanding of the ways that individuals, businesses, and organizations interact to encourage healthy financial capital.
Barnesville has a very robust program of various economic development tools to help both existing businesses as well as startup businesses. So among those tools, we have a revolving loan fund where funds are available to assist businesses for, in some cases, startup expenses. In other cases, if a business is expanding, those funds are also made available. We like to see ourselves as a gap financer. So we're partnering with financial institutions in the area, but we're not a replacement for financial institutions. So oftentimes, if a business is starting up, they'll go talk to a bank, and the bank is willing to provide a certain level of financing, but particularly with startup businesses, it's a fairly high risk area. So oftentimes, between the equity that the entrepreneur is able to invest and the monies that are coming from the bank, it's not quite enough to really put the deal together. So we then will provide the gap financing to make the project happen. What's pretty interesting about Barnesville is, in addition to our local revolving loan fund, we're fortunate to be able to partner up with Clay County, who also has a revolving loan fund. But then on a larger scale, we work with West Central Initiative out of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, and they have several loan funds. So quite commonly, we'll do a shared gap loan, but because of our partnership with these other entities, it's actually one note, and so for the business owner, it's just one payment, though the funds are actually coming from a variety of entities. The revolving loan fund has been integral in a number of very important business projects in Barnesville. One that comes immediately to mind is a few years ago, I was working with an individual that had an interest in starting an assisted living facility in Barnesville. The gentleman I was working with did have a need for gap financing. We were able to provide gap financing for Golden Manor Assisted Living. And to this day, Golden Manor is still operating in Barnesville and playing a very important role. Is when elderly residents leave the community, it has a financial impact that is really quite broad, whether it's financial support provided to the churches or even the purchase of their medications through our local pharmacy. Keeping those elderly residents in the community was critical. So not only were we helping a business through the revolving loan fund, we had a much broader impact.
The resources available from the Economic Development Authority benefit new and existing businesses alike in a number of capacities. Karen discussed the importance of the EDA as a gap financer. Financing and incentives like this encourage businesses to make a home in Barnesville. Let's now hear from Bailey Holzbauer Thompson, the director of Barnesville Main Street. This resource works to engage residents and businesses in the community and functions similarly to a Chamber of Commerce.
So the Main Street program is part of the city of Barnesville, but we actually follow the National Main Street program. We follow their 4-point approach, which is organization, promotion, design, and economic development. We do have programs like the Storefront Grant, where businesses that are members are eligible for a $1,000 grant. It's a matching program that they'd have to pay 25% and we'd pay 75% up to $1,000. We usually try to fund 2 of those a year, and really that's to kind of keep our front street looking great, our downtown. We want to preserve the history and look and feel of Barnesville. We have a wide variety of businesses. We have new businesses such as the Purple Goose. On the other side of that, we have the Eagle Cafe, which has been a family-run restaurant forever. We have a lot of insurance agencies and service businesses in town where people can get their services right here and don't need to drive to Fargo or other places to get them. We have Thompson Greenery, who just celebrated their 45 years of being in Barnesville. Midwest Bank is a big one that comes to mind, where they saw a need that we wanted a community garden in town. Well, they took it over and they're out there selling lots for $20 where somebody doesn't have room for a garden in their backyard. They're out there like getting this garden together and everything, which they're a bank. They don't need to do that, but they're very community minded.
Main Street programs like the one in Barnesville work to encourage revitalization of historic and downtown neighborhoods with the goal of creating a sense of place, bringing community members together, and encouraging economic vitality. There are over 200 businesses in Barnesville. Involvement from these local businesses is integral to making these programs a success. Let's now turn our attention to Dion Merkins, Branch President of Midwest Bank in Barnesville.
My name is Dion Merkins, and I'm the branch president here at Midwest Bank in Barnesville. And we employ about 10 people here. We've got a full teller line, consumer lending, mortgage lending, and ag and commercial as well. We donate thousands of dollars every year to local organizations, from the school to the 4-H's to the baseball groups to any organization that is in need of funding. We also sponsor a school scholarship for the graduating seniors. We pledge money to the Barnesville Area Community Fund because that is a huge asset to the community that gives back in a variety of ways that not always one institution can provide. West Central Initiative has been a crucial player in the success of Barnesville along the way in a variety of ways. But one way is through the Community Fund, and they helped sponsor a pool of funds that we could then use to assist businesses in town, and also have money for small grants to give out to the community. One of the things that came out of the planning process was Dollars for Scholars, making scholarships available to the local graduates, and how the money then started to flow into the fund was through donations. On a annual basis, we reach out to the local community, local businesses, and ask for donations to make the community fund a success, to give back to these students, to have a loan pool of money available to the local businesses as well. So over the course of time, since 1989, we've been raising funds for the community fund. The fund has dollars available for loan funds for businesses. It has funds available for humanitarian giving, whether somebody needs a spaghetti feed to raise money because they have an illness, or maybe they just need help paying their electrical bill. The Barnesville Area Community Fund can help out with that. Other things, it assists with the food pantry. The food pantry recently had a renovation, and the Barnesville Area Community Fund was able to provide them with a grant so they could make that renovation a reality. Another thing that the community fund has helped with is the splash pad here in Barnesville. It is a water park for kids, and we had a donor that came to us and said, I want to give back to the community. How can I do this? The community fund was able to, with their dollars, they were also able to go out and raise more funds to make this a reality. So here we have the splash pad available, and kids are enjoying it every day this summer. It's been a real hit. That's what the community fund is for. It's for helping things get off the ground. It's about helping people in the community where funds maybe cannot reach.
The banks in this community are clearly quite active in their reinvestment efforts. Dion also mentioned the value of the Barnesville Area Community Fund and the ways that it has provided long-term and widespread financial resources. The final component of financial capital is that of individual income and financial well-being. This is measured by understanding the poverty level, median income, employment, and commuting patterns. People who work outside the home spend on average 27 minutes to get to work. The likely assumption is that these employees are traveling to the Fargo-Moorhead area. The per capita income in Barnesville is $27,253, and the median household income is $57,163. Take a look at the bar chart to see how the community's wealth is distributed. The U.S. Census Bureau also finds that there are 4.2% of people in Barnesville living below the poverty line, and about 6% of children and elderly individuals are included in that statistic. These rates, however, are considerably lower than the nearest metro area and the state of Minnesota at large. Asset mapping is the process of inventorying and depicting assets in an effort to understand community strengths, correlations, and potential impacts. Asset mapping provides a clearer way to understand how resources may be mobilized to assess development considerations. As this video has shown, Barnesville's financial capital assets can be described through their wealth of local businesses, financial programs, and strong individual financial well-being. In this video, I hope to shed light on the forms that financial assets can take. It can be easy to discern that money is a financial asset, but incentive programs, small business support, and funding entities are also important markers of financial capital. Karen, Bailey, and Dion were representatives from very different organizations that all work together to build financial capital in the community of Barnesville. Beyond the borders of the town, they built links to county and statewide and even regional organizations that can positively influence the city's capacity for growth. Finally, financial decisions are made that support the local value system and culture. By understanding the impacts that financial assets can have on other areas in the community, we can find ways to utilize these assets to their fullest potential.